Hey everyone, welcome back to another interview. My name is Arena. I'm a local realtor, and today I am here with Victoria, who is the owner of TAC Consulting. Thank you so much for meeting with me today, even though it is virtual.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Of course, I'm really excited for our conversation today. We did talk briefly about a week ago, but for the audience, would you mind describing your business for those that may not have heard about it, that don't know what business consulting is?
Sure, yeah. So we are Tech Consulting, and we are a business and hospitality consulting firm, and we specialize in financial review, bookkeeping, training development, that type of stuff, streamlining. So we are what my husband likes to say, the tour guide to financial questions and business stability. So we are really here to answer those questions. We have so many companies that say, we know how to do what we do so well, and we do a really great job at it. But when it comes to our books and it comes to that financial stability part of it, we're just not exactly sure what's going on. And so I'm really here to help take out that stigma and make it a really easy thing where you can look at and you can gain profitability and make good decisions for your company.
That's awesome. What a perfect brief explanation. That's awesome. It makes it really easy to understand. And, even though I tend to interview businesses kind of in the local Park Rose area, you service businesses here. So I thought that it's still perfect.
Correct. Yes, exactly. We service the entire Pacific Northwest. Well, we service all of the United States, but real big focus in 2020 and beyond for Pacific Northwest, since that's where I'm located. And I'm big into being part of our community and making sure that we can give back to our community. And so the best place to do that is where I'm at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the types of businesses that you typically do consulting for?
So it's everybody. Everybody can definitely, anybody that owns a company and really wants to say, what's the most that I can get out of what I'm doing, then this is how I can help you. I specialize a lot in restaurants, hospitality, just because there is so many facets to it. It's such an ever-changing market. A lot of bookkeepers. I have a couple of nonprofit organizations that I work with as well to help them with the streamlining, to help them really understand how do they get the most bang for their buck.
Mhm.
And it's so important in nonprofit to make sure that they're putting all of their resources back into the right places. So it's a great way that we can work together, and I can help them at a discounted price because they're a nonprofit, and I can give back to the community a little bit. But it really is for anybody who has a small business to growing business that says, hey, I need a little help.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I believe when we talked the last time, you mentioned that you do a free consultation during the initial meeting. Is that correct?
Correct. So we always offer a 30-minute free consultation where we'd love to sit down and chat with you about what are some of the challenges that you're facing with your company, and what are your hopes and goals long term, and how can we help you attain those goals, right? Because those goals are different for every business and every company. And so it's great to have that 30 minutes to say, this is really how we could help you, and this is where we really think this is the best place to start, whether you use us or you use somebody else.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So it kind of creates a game plan for them.
Totally. Yeah. You've got to have somewhere to start, right? Especially when it seems so daunting and you get so busy being a business owner. Sometimes you just don't have time to stop and look at that stuff.
Absolutely. And it really helps to have that outside person looking in because, you can be very objective and kind of walk them through all of the steps necessary to streamline their business. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard for people to hear that you shouldn't do that.
That's right. Yeah. But when there's
But we
someone,
all need it.
yes. Absolutely. Well, another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is in these past couple years, I mean, it's been a crazy time, as we all know. What are some of the biggest challenges that you as a business, as well as the businesses that you work with, have been experiencing these past couple of years?
So for me, I've been fortunate because we've been virtual for quite a long time. So we have not had to have as many of the challenges that other places have faced when it comes to A, do we go virtual? B, unfortunately, do we just have to close our doors? What do we do with our employees? Do we lay them off? Do we keep them? Do we pay them? Um, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? Especially when it comes to what has happened. And it's an ever changing daily thing out there right now, especially with restaurants, hospitality, hotels. It's so many changes so fast, it can be hard to keep up on. And on top of that, you're spending a lot of resources and time trying to ensure that you're doing the right thing. And that can be really challenging when you're trying to stick to a budget. and we're really here to, what I have found the best thing is to really start looking ahead. And so I've been doing a lot of focusing on budgeting and a lot of my blogging and a lot of my services to talk to people about setting up their budgets and how important it is to look at it and be able to see these things coming before they happen and be able to have the revenue saved to be able to make these changes accordingly. It wasn't possible for everybody through all of this.
Yeah, and I think, I hate that a lot of people had to learn that in this way, but now hopefully a lot of people know, hey, I've got to have enough tucked away just in case something like this happens again.
Yeah.
It's really heartbreaking to watch, small businesses, and thankfully the small businesses that I know and love, most of them have been able to weather the storm, but they've been dealing with a lot of struggles, even just now as things are kind of getting better still, hiring people on, having to raise prices to, make it make sense for them. There's a lot of things that they're dealing with.
Or just letting go of their employees, right, has been heartbreaking. Some small businesses, I mean, these are people that have been with them forever, and these are people that rely on them. And it's hard when you're making these decisions between, do I need to let them go? Should I be raising the employee wages? What do we do to now? Right now we're in the great resignation. So, right. So then now how do we retain our employees? Right. And how do we keep them and show them that they're valued and still make it good for the business? And so I'm hoping to do a great push over 2022 on how important it is to invest in our team, and how if we invest in them well, they will invest in us. And that is what's going to make a lot of companies weather a lot more of these storms to come, I think.
I love that. That's so good to hear. I'm excited for that to happen because, yeah, I mean, a lot of the businesses that I've talked to, they've mentioned that, they're trying to hire on, but, they're a small business. They're trying to hire on. Large chain restaurants are also trying to hire on, and they have more resources to more incentives, a higher wage, some sort of benefits. So it'll be good to, equip small businesses with the knowledge that they need to also be able to provide those things for their employees.
Exactly, right. Big corporations do well and they're successful for a reason, right? They have a game plan and they stick to it. And teaching that to small businesses is not hard. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of them have never had that opportunity to learn that side of it and to learn those skills that they put in place. And they really can. A lot of them can really use a lot of those techniques and they work well, but still really be that small place that you want and give that good feel to your employees long term.
Yeah, that's right. Well, with you and your business, I was curious to ask, what drives you and what motivates you to keep doing this day in and day out? And how many years have you been doing this for?
So I have been working for large corporations on and off for 25 years, doing this actually for large corporations, going in and assessing their books and taking a good look at their financials and giving them a good game plan to be successful. And what I found early on is that I'm really good at it. I got this great knack for kind of seeing the whole picture, right? But it got frustrating after a while because you work for these large corporations and you start to put in these policies and these procedures, and then it's okay, well, now we're going to change. All right, now we're going to do it this way, or we want to try this different avenue, or this is the new fad, or this, and it just creates mud in the water. And if something works and it works well, then you should stick with it and you should do it. And that's where I realized that, man, there are so many companies out here that are great small companies that could be really successful. And if they knew these tricks and they were able to have these people here to guide them, they're going to compete with just about anybody else out there. And that is amazing, right? And I would love to see these small businesses and all of our local community become successful, because if they're successful, we're successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love what you're doing because, yeah, I mean, we want to be able to give small businesses the tools and the resources they need to thrive, because sometimes it's just a little bit of extra knowledge that they need to make a huge difference in their business and keep them going for many years to come. So
exactly. And then becoming that medium-sized business and giving back to their community and being part of that is what's going to change, the dynamic, I think, of the work dynamic in the future. I really do. I think that we're on that precipice of change, with virtual working from home and people wanting to spend more time with their families and having more value in place. I think we're really going to start to get to that point, and I'm excited to see companies want to be on board and do those things for their employees and for their community. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's a benefit both ways for the business owner and for the employee, which is what you want.
Exactly. It's a win-win, which is what it
Yeah,
should be.
exactly. Yeah. Well, another thing that I wanted to ask you is, of course, you can't share specifics about, specific businesses.
Sure.
But in general terms, do you have just a success story that's at the front of your mind of, taking a business from, where they were at when you met them to really thriving
Yeah.
after working?
I think my favorite story is I had a local restaurant and they have always ran in the red. They were just hemorrhaging money. Luckily, they were attached to a hotel and the hotel kind of subsidized them, right? But they were losing about $20,000-$30,000 a month. A lot of money.
Wow.
And went in there and kind of took a look at everything and said, okay, well, these are kind of the things I think you guys should do, And they said, well, that's great, but I think that maybe we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and see if it gets better, right? We're going to add to it. We're just going to add more to it. And I'm like, I really don't think you should do that. Like, okay, but okay. So they kept on doing it. About 2 or 3 months later, they came back to me and they said, okay, Victoria, just whatever it takes. Well, you tell me what to do. And I said, okay. So
we need you.
Like, okay, that's a weird question, but sure. So I pulled it all up and I looked at everything and I said, okay, these are the 3 things that I would do today. Right now, these are the 3 things that I would stop doing. And they did that night. And the crazy thing is that the very next day, they hit 0 profitability. They weren't in the negative. They didn't make any money that day, but they didn't lose any money. For the first time in years, they didn't lose any money for it. And then eventually it was slow, right? They'd make a little bit more and a little bit more. And it was amazing. And not only did they see a change and an effect in their revenue stream, they saw a change and effect in their team because it had to also, because since there are a restaurant, you have to change some of those dynamics with your team and how you're working with them and scheduling them. And you have to give them more responsibility and you have to trust in them as adults to do good things and believe in them. And you have to allow them to do those things. And it's amazing to see people rise up and to, show how great and how wonderful they are and what they can do and what they can give, as well as saving money and making you profitable. And to this day, I just think it's a great case of how little changes can just make huge changes long term within your company.
That's amazing. What a wonderful story. That's so
great story
that they almost immediately were starting to see.
Literally 24 hours. It was I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. I don't doubt that you've done that time and time again over the years for many businesses.
Yeah, I can't say it's been that great. Usually it takes time.
No, of course, like any good thing. Yeah.
Correct. But I hear time and time again, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was feeling so overwhelmed, so swamped, so scattered, just didn't know where everything was. Just all these questions I get all the time from business owners. And to be able to see them take their holidays off, to relax a little bit more, to see their stuff work a little bit better. It's very rewarding in that sense.
Of course. Yeah. And it's so great that you offer that consultation in the beginning so that, at least it gets them thinking about what they need to do so that even if they're not ready in that moment, you've planted a seed and they can start to consider, some of those changes that you.
Yeah. Because these aren't secrets, right? I'm not here to hide anything. I'm here to help empower everybody. But whether you use us or not, it's good to have someone say, hey, this is the direction I would go.
Yeah. And it's amazing how just a little bit of resources can really make a business thrive.
It really is. And it's great to support each other and see each other become successful. It's great.
I love that. That's what's so great about community. And, we found each other through the Facebook group that is specifically for small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what people can do when they collaborate.
It really is. And they are just so great. And you see the motivation and how they just really want to do better and put so much better things out there for their community and for their business. And it's just so great to be a part of something like that. And so, yeah, I love, that's my favorite side of it. That's the best part of the job.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, if people want to reach out to you, learn more about you, potentially contact you for a consultation, where can they find you?
So we are at consulttac.com. You can find us online. Of course, you can give us a call anytime at 206-636-2399. But yeah, we're always happy to give a free consultation and kind of help set you up and guide you to where you want to go.
Awesome. Perfect. And I'll make sure to put that link in the interview notes when I post it on the website so that people have an easy resource and they can reach out to you whenever.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, this was so great. I'm so glad we were able to set this up and chat. Thank you so much for sharing about your business. This was awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so great.
Of course, no problem. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this interview. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time for a brand new interview. Bye.